well, congratulations on a Strange Loop. And I've heard you say that when a lot of people come backstage after seeing the show, they kind of say, I have no words, because it's hard to do it justice. And I met and interviewed Michael R.Jackson at the GLAAD Awards, and I felt the same way. I was like, whatever I say about this show, I feel like I'm not going to be able to do it justice. But I was able to sort of sit down and get my thoughts together and try and pull together a review. And I gave it 5 stars, but I said if I had 6, I would have given it 6.
Oh, yay!
So, can you take us back a few years to before all that, to when the kind of performer in you first awakened? Because I believe it was quite a way back in the Nativity play at school, was it?
Yes, yes. I was doing the three wise men, or is it the three kingsmen? One of those, and I was 3 years old. It was actually in preschool or maybe before preschool. I think in those times because I'm a military brat. It was in Fort Benning, Georgia. So the military kids really, we were a little community, and so we it was about 20 of us. My mom and dad still have pictures, and I remember they had to make crowns out of foil, and I had a crown, and that's what got my attention was the glitz and the glamour of it all, and to go back behind a curtain, and the audience is in front of the curtain, and you know that you all have something special to present to the audience. Even at that age, I just remember, wow, this is what I want to do. And then it was reaffirmed for me when I saw a tour of the national show of Rent. And I think that was 1996. I was in 6th grade. And that was actually also the first time I had technically done my first stage show, which was Tales from Hans Christian Andersen, under the leadership of Janet Glassman, who I'm going to be speaking with next month at French Middle School in Topeka, Kansas.
So, and what was it about Rent that kind of sparked your interest, and what kind of impact did that production, that show, have on you?
I think that's why I am able to have a resume like I do. Everything that I do, especially in musical theater, it's real life. I'm blessed that way. My debut was Hair, which dealt with, the Vietnam War and the protest. And then I'm blessed to be in A Strange Loop, and I've been able to do Rent. Rent is raw emotion. It's a band of people living life, struggling, going through tribulations, and relying on each other. That's all I've had to do in New York for the past 18 years since I've been here, is now I have a network of people that have been through the muck, and I'm starting to see them shine and getting to see them get their due, and vice versa. And it's a beautiful thing. It really is.
You mentioning the foil crown as a 3-year-old and the glitz and the glamour,
Yes.
just made me think of how stunning you looked at the Tonys, and that it's kind of fun to think of that, like, you enjoyed that as a kid, and then look how fabulous you looked on that night at Radio City Music Hall.
Thank you. Thank you. I get to wear that the Saturday coming up for New York Fashion Week. My cousin designed that, Aisha McShaw, and I will be wearing that for her Fashion Bomb New York Fashion Week showing of Aisha McShaw Official. I'm excited to do that.
And that's your cousin?
My cousin created that. We had many conversations, and Aisha McShaw, she's my cousin by way of my father's mom. Yeah, our grandparents are brother and sister.
And sticking with child Antwayn just for a moment, I saw in another interview you mentioned that you were kind of lip syncing. I think probably when your parents were out of the house and you were lip syncing. What kind of numbers were you lip syncing to?
There's nothing better than I like to do. Denise Williams, Cause You Love Me, Baby. Selena, Bitty Bitty Bum Bum. I did the choreography. In Vogue, everything from Funky Divas. I did a lot of Whitney Houston. The Emotions. I had choreography for Regina Belle. Let's go reaching back, way back. And I cannot wait for the day where God blesses me with the role of lip syncing. I got to do it a little bit last year as Eartha Kitt at Williamstown. I like to be evil. I got to lip sync that and drive men mad.
And What was your arrival in New York like? Did it feel a bit of a culture shock? I mean, just because you're from Kansas, I was just sort of I was wondering if you had a sort of Toto, we're not in Kansas anymore moment when you arrived in the city.
Technically, when I arrived to live here, it was my second time being here. The first time was when I came for Showcase. Well, actually, I think it was my third time being here. The first time I came for Headshots with Peter Hurley, who I re-linked up with yesterday. It's just crazy. It's full circle. Everyone, he did a huge favor for me. Peter Hurley, side story. Peter Hurley's known for his white backgrounds, right? Well, I wanted to maximize my dollar, and I knew I didn't have much to give. First off, it was $1,200, and this is in 2007 that it was for a session. He shaved off a lot of that and blessed me, and then gave me a picture with a gray background. And he said it was the first time he had ever done it. And so, to commemorate that, we're going to be doing a shoot umpteenth years later to just say, isn't God good? Because even back then, he said to me, "You're a star." And I remember I was just like, what? Just it's overwhelming. So like the people that have come into my life, even like you now, giving me this opportunity, it's just a blessing. And it really shows you that artists in New York, we lead with humility. We're about sharing this beautiful art form. To your story, or to your question, um, which was what again? Oh Lord.
I mean, it sounds like so you found community in New York pretty fast. I mean, but I know your first gig on Broadway was Bubba Gump's, but it sounds like that was, there was a community of performers there that you were working with.
Yes. So when I came here, it was my third time being here. The first time was for my Headshots with Peter Hurley. The second time was for Showcase with Carnegie Mellon. The third time, Matheny Trico and Steve Mazurek moved me here. And technically, my first apartment was Manhattan Mini Storage out on 11th and 43rd, because I dropped my stuff off there in 2007, and I was signed with Talent Works. And within the week, I had booked New York Stage and Film. I did Respect out of MCC, which was in residence at New York Stage and Film. And I had also booked Bubba Gump's. Yes, correct.
um, no, I mean, you were very busy if we look at your resume, but the thing that when you look at a performer's resume that it doesn't cover is, the times in between. And I saw it in an interview with Playbill. You said recently that at times you felt like you've been overlooked, and
Yeah.
that you're an underdog. And I wondered what kind of had helped sustain you as you were establishing your career.
My friends, my professors from Carnegie Mellon. Carnegie Mellon has really helped. It's the little things when you're feeling wayward. It's the little things like a text message from someone you look up to going, "Hey, you came across my feed today," or "Hey, I'm thinking about you." For me, my church, Middle Collegiate, my pastor, Reverend Dr. Jackie Lewis, I created a community out of people who are relentless and not allowing me to turn my back on me, and to giving me love and showering me with love. And now that I look back, I'm able to do that for others, and that's kind of been my forte, kind of, so to speak, my forte.
Yes. Well, you radiate that. Now, take us back to when you first got involved with A Strange Loop. Because I know you were approached by Michael R. Jackson, kind of, I think, in line, either coming in or out of the Ritz, which is kind of cool. And I love the stories of how Michael approaches people. And then, so it was only supposed to be temporary, wasn't it? But then the role of Thought Six was kind of created for you.
Well, it was supposed to, it's Jason, I mean, Jason Beasy was the originator of Thought Six. I can't remember if there were six. Yeah, I think there were always six, or maybe they were only five. Maybe that's what happened and they created six. I can't remember. It was 6 years ago. But yeah, I filled in for Jason. And I am so blessed because after a workshop, Stephen and Michael came to me because they knew I was really stressed, and I made it very clear, this is not my gig. This is Jason's gig first. I'm not trying to take anyone's gig. Well, they said, it's Jason and it's your gig. And I went, no. And Jason and I hugged, and we were so thankful because Jason and I are both dramaturgy bass actors. And it's a beautiful thing. Jason and I have done like 3, 4 shows together, and each show is a new show, and it's great to work with him. So it's just a win-win-win situation.
Yeah, and talking about the dramaturgy, because I mean, sometimes we go to the theater and we'll watch something that's pretty much like people sitting around a table, and you can imagine, well, that could just be filmed. And it's still thrilling to see live, but it doesn't maybe have that, wow, I could only imagine seeing this in the theater, and it uses all aspects of, like sound and, the staging and everything. But
right.
Really, what was it that kind of probably excited you back then when you were so thrilled to sort of, be involved, and probably still excites you about it now? I imagine. What are some of those things that excite you about the piece?
So going back to one of your beautiful questions, which I'm loving all of these. It's just, ooh, good conversation. Um, I realized after doing hair in a lot of my shows that I have been blessed to do, like Camino Real at the Goodman Theater and the Brother Size at the Old Globe. A lot of what I'm after is raw emotion, real life storytelling, where it doesn't seem like there's a curtain between me and the audience. As many are starting to find out, my theater father is Andre D. Shields. I like to evoke, I like to make people feel a certain something magical that is theater. And so, right off the bat, how many minutes till the end of intermission no one cares about a writer who is struggling to write? Okay, I'm in. Say no more. Speak the speech, I pray you, trippingly on the tongue. Less is more, and he has crafted something, Michael R. Jackson, that is a beautiful testament to one who's following their heart and is supposed to be where they are at this time. And it happens to be Black and queer. We need this. It's great art, as Bevy Smith said, not musical theater art, period. And so reading this and seeing that he has sprinkles of, the beautiful melodies of musical theater that we love, like some familiarities of like, the big band of like Sondheim or Jerry Herman, on top of real life of Tyler Perry, and all these little troughs of things we have to literally throw off of us as Black actors or throw on us. And then, humor, that Family Guy humor, I love it. I was like, this is great. I hate to say it, but in a way, it's lighthearted humor, and it brings people out of their shell, and it starts many conversations that need to be had.
Yes, definitely a conversation starter. Yeah. How much of yourself would you say that you bring to the plethora of characters that you play as Thought Six?
Well, the first one I do is financial faggotry, and he's a cunt. So that's some of me. But my humor is out of Cuntsville. I'm very witty. I'm very quick. I don't want to say inappropriate humor, but I'm just like, I want people to laugh. Like, but anyway, faggotry, and then we have the dad. Hey, son, it's your dad. So that's just an iteration or a mixture of all the masculine men I know in my life, like my uncles, my brothers, my dad, my granddad, all in one spirit. And then we have the dad in the family scene, which is supposed to be, over the top a little bit. It's a part of giving him this idea to write this Tyler Perry show, realizing his household is the Tyler Perry show. I think we've all been there. So that's just every like Black sitcom father you can think of, except Cosby, in one. And it's just beautiful because it really is a beautiful example of restorative theater, restoration comedy. And then we have Inwood, and Inwood is actually based loosely off of three individuals that I actually do know that do exist, and they are real life breathing individuals that I won't say the names of, but yeah, that's a combination, and that's how I got Inwood. And then I think, what's the last one?
Well, James
Oh,
Baldwin.
the church member. Yes, the church member.
Yeah.
Now she is a judgmental queen, honey. Yes, honey. I went to one of the churches in New York that shall remain nameless in Times Square, And I remember the pastor had nerve to get up on that pulpit and preach that, we go to hell. And she had the nerve to be standing behind him, the loudest, pointing, judgmental. I said, wow, this is perfect. So that's the thought lady. I mean, the church lady. So.
Yeah. Well, this is the great thing about being a performer, I guess. If you encounter people that I don't wouldn't necessarily choose to be around, but they're wonderful to channel maybe for performances. And what the play, what A Strange Loop, the musical, has to say, or what it explores about that kind of judgment from the church is interesting, isn't it? Was that something that resonated with you as a person of faith, like that you are sometimes unwelcomed in these spaces by certain people rather than by the religion, I guess?
Well, I was raised in Topeka, Kansas. I was born in Wiesbaden, Germany, but I was raised in Topeka, Kansas. And everyone knows this, that I was raised in USD 501, which is the legendary school district, the Thurgood Marshall versus Topeka Board of Education, to allow Black and white students to go to school together. That's my school district. And within that district, we house Westboro Baptist Church, which houses the Phelps, who are actually friends of mine and my family. And Libby Phelps is a good friend of mine. And the Phelps family went around and they picketed God Hates, and that you will go to. And they would picket everything, including Matthew Shepard's funeral. They're even in, what's that play that is about Matthew Shepard? I forgot the name of it.
Oh, the Laramie Project, is it?
Yep, they're in that. There's other individuals that picket. That's my neighborhood. But mixed with that was a community filled with love for theater arts, and it won. And so to be able to have that community stand so firmly behind me made me be able to walk past the Westboro Baptist Church or go up to them and go, hi, I'm Antwayn, what's your name? And actually befriend a lot of them and realize that a lot of this was an act, that many of them actually don't believe it. And it's all a perception of a thought. So with knowing that and moving to New York, I was already ready. And, I was known to be the only one. Everyone's playing football. I'm doing theater arts and no one will make fun of me. I was very strong-willed and minded. My dad and my mom made sure of that, especially because I wanted to do theater. They raised men. And so when I went to Carnegie Mellon, I walked into that. And by the time I got to New York City, I had to do what I had to do to make sure that I was going to stay here and maximize my experience to be the best actor that I could be, and to make sure I was always granted access because I'm Antwayn Hopper.
Yeah. And you mentioned Inward Daddy. I love the way that the Hookup chats are kind of shown on stage. What sort of interested you about the way that kind of it depicts Usher's experience of Hookup culture, app culture?
Well, first off, kudos to you saying how it depicts Usher's experience. That's something that we really want to get across to people. This is not an autobiography of Michael R. Jackson. These are based off of experiences, perhaps heard of, witnessed, lived, all into one. So what I love about it is the coyness of it all. Many layers to one reply, to one answer or question. Low key, you know what I mean? It's not in your face. It's unsuspecting. There's many iterations. This Broadway iteration, we can see that Inwood and Usher, they have a valued attraction to one another. But there was an iteration at Playwrights Horizons where Inwood was playing upon a fetish, and he was all about that fetish, regardless if Usher was about it or not. And then there was an iteration at Woolly Mammoth where we toyed with, was there some uncomfortable moments? How would the audience take that? Because we didn't want to take from the full journey of Usher finding and coming into himself. This is just a moment of it, even how jarring it may be.
Yes, yeah. And that moment, sort of year before that, when when Usher's chatting to people on the apps, I think it sort of illustrates really well how individual the thoughts are. Excuse me, Zoom is just flying something at me. Yet you all sort of move with one flow, and I guess the fact that a lot of you have been working together for such a long time is something where that really helps that to succeed, because I imagine it's a hard thing to pull off. It's pretty spectacular to watch as an audience member.
I don't think we realized, with Roger Feather Kelly's gorgeous choreography, which I personally want to say I think was overlooked. People come see the show and they go, "Oh, y'all are dancing. We're moving." Raja, we got to watch the other day because we did a rehearsal and we got to witness our beautiful wonder studies, fellow actors do the show, especially the opening. It's constantly moving. We're just now realizing that we do move as one. We didn't realize that, but yeah, we've been together for 6 years. It makes sense. Well, our group has been together for 3.5 years, but all of us, aside from Lyles, we've been together, and Jacquel have been together for 6 years. So yes, even that movement, it is one now, and that's the beauty of working together on a piece over a length of time. That is a luxury and a little bit of old school shimmer and definite success. That's one of the secrets of the old school ways.
Yes. And I heard you say the other day that you felt like you were part of a Black Renaissance, which I think we can see it's happening. And I wondered what it means to be to you to be part of this Black, queer, and trans cast, because you've got kind of representation in the themes on stage, but then also embodied by you as performers as well.
It's an honor. It really, like I said I was speaking to Carnegie Mellon a few days ago. I had the honor, and I said to them, when you're blessed to do a show such as A Strange Loop or Hair, a show that reaches so many people, people can't even formulate words. It really puts you in a bracket of, we are soldiers. This is an army, a beautiful army of love, and we have to reach the masses. We have to reach the masses, We have to get it out there, this message of love. I'm honored to be thought of as a hero for being in this show. I'm just a regular person. But one thing I will do is I will, with pride, uphold the banner for our community. And I'm thankful for the love we get shown daily by our community, the queer community, the Black community, whatever community. But we are really bringing people together, and this is beautiful. And it's like, and the love from the celebrities, Michelle Obama, Gayle King, Queen Latifah, Lena Waithe, Cynthia Erivo, Billy Porter. I can go on, RuPaul, Samuel Jackson. It's a blessing. Mindy Kaling. This is it's a dream.
So if you're watching this and you're hearing the list of all these people that have, been to the show, some of them are producers in the show, like RuPaul, right? And the 100th performance has already happened. You need to get your ticket to go and experience this show for yourself and be in great company like Samuel Jackson and RuPaul and Michelle Obama and have seen this piece. So I've got one final question for you, and it's for your favorite piece of LGBTQ plus culture. So whether that be a play or a TV series, a film, a book, photography, a piece of art, or a person who identifies as LGBTQ plus. So just someone or something that's had an impact on you and kind of resonated with you over the years, and why.
RuPaul. And I'm going to tell you why, because I remember 2.5 years ago, 3 years ago, I was really down on my luck. And what would get me through those summer days, aside from June Christie's Something Cool, If you have a moment, go and look up the song Something Cool by June Christie. Would be me watching YouTube videos of RuPaul. Mainly the videos under the user 9th Avenue, and it's of the old way, New York, 1989, Atlanta, 1988, when RuPaul was just starting and RuPaul had a vision. And RuPaul then was speaking of branding, and everyone around RuPaul was just like, I mean, they were supportive, but you could just tell it was like, we're just high, we're just here for the moment. But RuPaul was focused on that moment. And now to look at how RuPaul has taken that brand and everyone around RuPaul, it's just pretty freaking amazing. So I view things from a RuPaul mindset of producing and really, as I'm saying a lot, my word is other than integrity, maximizing an experience. And so RuPaul would be someone, a mascot for me of the LGBTQ community, plus community.
Yes. Oh, and one other thing that I wanted to ask you was, if you were to put an album out, what kind of vibe do you think it would have? Or when you put an album out, I'm sure.
Well, I'm working on an album. It's so crazy. Today at 7 o'clock, I have a music meeting. Thank you for that. Amen. And on this album, the joke of Antwayn, well, for myself is, hey, Lil Nas X, meet your big brother, Unlimited. So the name is Unlimited, is the name of my persona in music. And he is a Johnny Hartman meets Sammy Davis meets Brian Stokes meets George Parliament meets HUD from Hair. He's just a big clunk of soul, and he does a number of genres. He's unlimited, including country. So that's what we're working on. It's just going to be nothing but love, techno. You name the genre, let's do it. Let's play. Even classical, even arias. Why not? So we're trying to figure out how to get that with James Kleinmann, my music director, with a big band. But I want to do something that is a culmination of everything that is me musically.
Well, Antwayn Hopper, thanks so much. And yeah, everyone that hasn't seen A Strange Loop yet, go and see it. Or if you've seen it, go back. I definitely, I can't wait for my second visit. And in the meantime, I've been listening to the cast album.
Amen. Thank you. Can I do my famous pose?
Please.
And with that.
And we can get that I think we can get that as a GIF on Instagram, can't we? As a sticker.
Yes, God is so good. Yes, they hooked it up where you can put my name and he comes up. It's so cute. Meaning queers, we do it all.
Exactly.
What? Which queens unite?
Antwayn, thanks so much.
Thank you.